Jack's going to talk more about that with us right now. But for those of you who really don't know how amazing Jack Canfield is, I have to tell you, he's a 7 times New York Times bestseller. He's the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul series, which has sold over 500 million copies, you guys. Like, wow, that's amazing. But he's an entrepreneur, and he's developed the Canfield training method, which has inspired thousands of trainers and leaders and healers and change makers around the world to go out and share those ripples, spread those ripples of goodness, so we can help more people on the planet to wake up, to awaken, to claim their purpose, to claim this one heart, to step into this one heart. Jack is also a platinum leader in Young Living essential oils, and his mission is to help inspire people to come back to nature and utilize incredible tools of nature to shift frequency of the planet. So, Jack, I am going to hand it over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And let me just say how much I've been inspired already by Kate, who's doing the Qigong. There's something in the universe called just on time delivery. Like, you know, if you just open yourself, everything shows up. And I needed a little bit of a exercise for a group I'm starting at 10 o'clock today, our time. And I'm going to start with the Qigong exercise. I never knew about rubbing the nails together. So that's fun. People will love it. And then Aaron, you're so passionate, man. I thought like, I need to make more sounds, you know, like when I'm talking to my wife, I love you. You know, it's like, so thank you for that. I just thought about, wow, you really excited me about that. And my wife is like Raven, her name's Inga, and she's just so full of energy. And then Penelope, using the oils as a management tool. That had never occurred to me, like to get my staff to de-stress. Many of them do it because they're all Young Living brand partners and so forth. And then Sammy, enthusiasm, holy shit. You know, the word enthusiasm comes from entheos, the word theology. Theos means God in Greek. And to be filled with God is to be enthusiastic. And you are so enthusiastic. I loved it. And just talking about ripples, I just want to riff on that for a minute, and then I'll get into what I was planning to say or what Sprite asked me to talk about. But this idea of collaboration, of working with other people, Chicken Soup for the Soul. Every book had a co-author, sometimes 3 or 4 or 5. We did a Chicken Soup for the Indian Soul series, where I think there's about 20 books now, all in India, and they're all co-authored by Indian people. And we now have like 650 million books in print, 47 New York Times bestsellers. And that's all because of collaboration. Never would have gotten there. Now we have 5,000 trainers teaching the success principles in 117 countries. Again, collaboration, the work gets out, you know, not try to own it and give it away. So, and then with Young Living, you know, I think there's 2,233 people in my organization, our team, since we got started. So anyway, everything you guys have said is like awakened something in me. And this idea of ripples to waves is really a great idea. That was a masterful talk, Sammy. Thank you very much. Every one of you that presented so far awakened me, inspired me, and so forth. So what I'm going to talk about today is just a little bit about Young Living Oils and the importance of essential oils, how I got into it, why I'm so excited about it. It was only a few years ago that this happened, but I'm going to show some slides. So let me share my screen here and get the slides up on the screen. And I also am going to start with a little bit of humor. I use cartoons as a way to do that. So let me just share a few with you real quickly. Here's 2 dogs talking. One says, I've got a busy day of Zoom meetings to interrupt. I love it. I always see these cats and dogs walking across the back of the screen or jumping up into the owner's laps. It says, you can name her whatever you like, but be sure it's something you can remember. You'll be using it as a security question answer for the rest of your life. I love that. And then this guy, you know, during the pandemic, someone recently wrote, people either became a hunk, a chunk, or a drunk, meaning you had a lot of extra time to work out, so you became a hunk. The average American gained 26 pounds during the pandemic. So that was the chunk part, or a drunk, lot of people started drinking at home to deal with the stress instead of doing things like emotional reset and so forth that we talked about earlier. But I love this one. He says, my two hobbies are smoking marijuana and rescuing stray cats. Not the best combination here. You end up with a possum. And then finally, two women talking about their computers. And this one woman says, my memory really sucks, Mildred, so I changed my password to incorrect. That way, when I log in with the wrong password, the computer will tell me your password is incorrect, which I love. All right. So how did I get into this? About 2.5 years ago, I was running a seminar, and it was about 25 people. It's our high-end, we call it luxury retreat. It's 4.5 days of deep, intensive work with a very small group. And there was a woman in there who was involved with Young Living Oils. And every time we were about to do an exercise, she'd say, you know, there's an oil for that. And I'd say, what do you mean? She said, well, you're about to do a vision exercise to get people in touch with what's the vision of their ideal life. And we have these oils called Envision, Highest Potential, Awaken. We should use those. So she's going around pouring all these drops on people's hands. People are rubbing their hands together and inhaling. And sure enough, people went deeper, faster. And then we were doing, one person said they were having trouble sleeping at night. She said, you should do Roman chamomile. That person started sleeping better. There was another woman who was afraid to get up and talk in front of the group. We used Valor, which is what the combination of oils the Roman soldiers used to bathe in before they would go into battle. And she felt this incredible sense of courage, peace and calming when people were stressed out, etc. So all through the seminar, she's handing out these oils to people. And then she said, you know, would you like to enroll and get these oils and get a starter kit? And I'll teach you how to use them. I said, sure, of course. So that was the beginning of it. And quite frankly, I would say I got the starter kit and I kind of played with it for maybe a couple of weeks. And then I kind of forgot about it. You know, it's like new things. If you don't put a lot of energy in it for a minimum of 30 days, really intensely, the research shows it tends to fade into the background. And then I was over in India in February of 2020. And the pandemic started in Wuhan while I was there. And I was supposed to fly back through Hong Kong. I said, that's not a smart idea. So we changed our flight, went through Germany. Turns out that wasn't really smart either, because most of the stuff was coming into New York from Italy and a lot of it going through Frankfurt. Anyway, long story short, I get back, and within a month, my business, which is putting people in large ballrooms and doing these massive, intensive, deep personal growth trainings, came to a roaring halt because all the laws said you can't gather large people in groups. In fact, we were running a seminar in Santa Barbara in a hotel when the sheriff came in and said, you have to disband this. Like, what? You have an hour for everyone to leave. Fortunately, we had a friend who had a huge house and we were able to go over there and finish the seminar. But point being, I now had $800,000 in deposits for seminars I couldn't deliver. And our company was at grave risk. So we had to pivot to online. And all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, if we don't make the money we need to make, we're going to have a problem. I don't want to fire any of my staff. I had 14 people working for me, several of them with kids and so forth. And so I thought we need ancillary income. And that's what I thought about Young Living. Young Living would provide people not only with the oils that would get us through this, the emotional side of the pandemic, but also it would provide us with an opportunity to introduce other people to the oils, and people could actually earn an income from that, which is what we did. Every one of my staff signed up. They all started using the oils. Many people went to gold and silver ranking, which are, you know, selling quite a bit of oils every month with their teams. And so I started really using the oils again, you know, full time, learning about them in greater depth, and was just amazed, if not shocked, at the history of oils being used for thousands of years in every culture for healing, for spiritual awakening, for connecting to the earth, for connecting to the inner self, for meditation, you know, deepen that, and so on and so forth. So anyway, that's how I got involved in all this. And, you know, when I say about why do we use oils, I'm going to give you just a little bit of a background on that. I read a book called The Essential Oil Truth by a woman named Jen O'Sullivan. and little thin book, but it contains so much information. And I just really became like an oil geek very quickly. I mean, I read and I read and I read. People started sending me books when they found that I was so interested in it. And I was listening to CDs and YouTube videos and so forth, and really immersing myself in this. And what we find is that when you put an oil on your skin, if you put it in a diffuser and you inhale it, if you put it in a a drink, or you put it, like I put it sometimes in little capsules, like I'll take my vitamin C capsule, open it up, pour in some oils, and then ingest that. But literally every cell in your body within 20 minutes, if you put it on in your feet at night, like I put lavender on my wife's feet and my feet every night, within 20 minutes, it's in your brain. It's in every cell in your body. It's phenomenal, and I'll talk about that in a minute. How many molecules are in a one drop of oil, and how that gets into every cell in our body within 20 minutes, and it crosses the brain-blood barrier, which a lot of things can't do, and that's why it has such a huge effect on how we feel, on our spirituality, on our calmness, on our courage, on our sense of connectedness with others, and so forth. Happens very, very quickly. As I said, passes through the brain-blood barrier. It's very, very small molecules. It helps eliminate toxins in our body. A lot of us are over-toxified right now, and many of us, because we're sitting in front of a computer all day long. It was great when Aaron talked about standing up and moving around. And several of our people this morning have been getting us to shake and move and rub our hands together and do qigong exercises, breathe deeply, etc. We're not using our bodies as much, and so the detoxification that occurs with the lymph system and so forth is not happening as much as it should. And so the essential oils help go into the cells and pull toxins out and help eliminate them. Very powerful. And every system in our body is affected by these oils: our digestive system, our nervous system, our muscular system, all the different systems in our brain, which is so important, are affected by the oils. It promotes cellular regeneration. One of the most important things to stay young. Most people will tell me, I'm 77. Most people will tell me I look 10 to 15 years younger than I actually am. My biological age being, smaller or less, let's just say not as old as my birth age, if you will. And so the reality is the cells are constantly regenerating, and the oils facilitate that. One of the things oils do, and this is different than pharmaceuticals, with pharmaceuticals, they will take something often from a plant, and they will then take one aspect of it, one little part of the whole compound, and then they will get that to go into the cell. But quite often it doesn't penetrate the cell, and it doesn't affect all of the other functions and processes that occur within the cell, as if you were to take an essential oil. Like when you eat a plant, which is food. We talk about plant-based diets these days, and we have plant medicine and so forth that's going on. So we're going back to the basics, if you will. So much of our food is denatured and filled with toxins and so forth. So these oils, when we inhale them, when we rub them on our skin, when we take them into our bodies, etc., what happens is they have a full cell bioavailable effect. That's why a lot of the nutraceuticals that the young living cells, the vitamins and minerals, are actually much more effective, because when they go into the body, they go through the cell wall much more quickly, and they affect everything in that cell, not just one little aspect of it, which is so important for whole living. Now, they also work on the emotions via the limbic system of your brain. We know that within 20 seconds of inhaling the aroma of one of these oils, that they're starting to affect our brain. And when you inhale, the top of the nasal passage is right at the bottom of the brain, and it goes very quickly into the olfactory system, which is the oldest system in our brain. We have the 3 levels of the brain, but we needed to be able to smell if there was a tiger in the jungle, etc., to smell food if it was rotten, and we wouldn't eat it. That would protect us from getting, some kind of illness. And so what happens is this is really affecting us on a very quick way into one of our deepest and most old brain systems, if you will. Promotes healthy emotional wellness. We relax, we clear the mind, things like that. Transports nutrients, which I just said, that more bioavailable. It's not how much vitamin C you take, it's how much gets into the cells. And so when we have these oil infused vitamins and minerals, when we just take oils with if you do regular vitamins and minerals, but if you have oils along with that, you're going to get much more of it into your body. Powerful antioxidants. We want to get rid of the oxidation process, which causes cancer and other things like that. The oils and some of the other things that Young Living sells, like Ningxia, which comes from the goji berries in China, have high oxidative reduction values, much more than most things on the planet. They remove toxins in the air. If you're diffusing, promotes healthy, breathable air, and a great alternative to chemical and toxic fragrances, which a lot of people are using these days. You know, these spray things we use in our bathrooms and so forth that aren't that healthy for us to get rid of odors. All right. It said you can diffuse it, you can put it on your skin. She's rubbing this morning, and also you can ingest it. And, you know, the thing that's fun about oils is there's all these different recipes. Like I used to get allergies in the spring. I haven't had them now for 2 years. I take 5 drops of lavender, 4 drops of lemon, 3 drops of peppermint, put that in my diffuser when I get the allergies, or when I used to get the allergies, and I don't get them anymore. Or if I start to feel like I'm getting one, I'll put 3 drops of lavender, 2 drops of lemon, 1 drop of peppermint into a little capsule, gel cap, and I'll take that. And within 20 minutes, it's gone. There's none of that. So if you decide to get involved with this, I really encourage you to get the book, The Essential Truth, The Facts Without Hype by Jen O'Sullivan. This was my Bible, if you will, in terms of learning about essential oils. It's only about 100 pages, big type, lots of white space, but you learn the essence of what this is all about. And one of the things I learned that's really incredible, you look at the blue paragraph there, it says the human body has around 100 trillion cells. Essential oils are composed of around 40 million trillion molecules per single drop. Think about that, 40 million trillion molecules. That's insane. That number is so huge per single drop, which means that when you take an essential oil and you rub it, say, on your feet, in 20 minutes, literally your whole body's filled. You got 40 million trillion molecules, in effect, creating 400,000 molecules for every cell of your body. That's how pervasive the oils come, the molecules that oil, essential oils come in terms of having an impact on you. And I mentioned when you inhale it within 20 seconds. And the other cool thing is essential oils, each drop is less than 300 Daltons. And these are how they measure atomic mass. And literally, most things cannot pass the brain-blood barrier, which is how the brain protects itself from a lot of toxins in the world. But these oils can get in there. They pass it because they're so small. And so that's why it's so effective. All right. There are many, 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 many oils. One of the ones I use every day is peppermint. Around 4 o'clock, I used to get really, really hungry. And I started gaining weight because I would eat. And I would have these snacks, you know, nuts and raisins and protein bars and stuff like that, that I would kind of get my blood sugar up again, I was thinking. But I found that if I took peppermint, put it in my diffuser, all of a sudden I didn't need to eat because it was opening up the blood vessels. It was getting more oxygen to my cells. And so all of a sudden this became a big part of me losing and maintaining a better weight. And so there's just so many things like that. And if you're an athlete of any kind, if you inhale peppermint, you know, like we do, rub it and smell it, or if you put it in a diffuser before you do an athletic event like swimming or running track or playing tennis, you'll actually have more energy. You won't get as fatigued as fast. And we also know that peppermint can be used. They've done experiments with kids before they take a test. And if they take peppermint and they take that group versus one that didn't before the test, the peppermint group always scores higher, even though it was the same classroom, same teachers, same everything. All right, just to give you a sense of that. And I mentioned Ningxia, which is this wonderful goji berry or Ningxia berry. We call them berries, along with, we also put some cherry juice and blueberry juice, and they're infused with essential oils as well. I do drink 4 ounces of that every day, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. And I haven't gotten sick in 3 years. It's just very powerful in terms of the antioxidant effect of all that. So lots and lots of things. One of the things I didn't know about until I got involved with Young Living was this thing they call the ORAC value, the oxygen radical absorption capacity, which means it removes oxygen. And wolfberries, goji berries, which is in what's in Ningxia, the ORAC value is 25,300. And a lot of us have been told for years, put blueberries in your blender drink in the morning because it's going to help with the antioxidants. Kale, but you look at the difference in the ORAC value. Blueberries, kale, spinach, broccoli, all things we take. But the fact is that the wolfberries are so much more powerful. And essential oils, look at that. Clove, 1 million. Myrrh, 379,000. Rose, 160,000. So again, these oils have tremendous health benefits, in whatever form you might take them. This was done, I had my live blood analysis done years ago. And when your blood's healthy, it looks like the blood on the right, where all of the blood cells are not glommed together. And this shows someone that took Ningxia, and 15 minutes afterwards, this is their blood. That was before. As you can see the difference just from the antioxidant level and what that does to your blood from Ningxia. So there's so many benefits. Now, I forget who it was. I think it was Penelope. Yeah, she talked about the aroma freedom technique, which was developed by Dr. Ben Perkis, in which he developed a protocol for using essential oils to identify a limiting belief you have, to go back to where that limiting belief was created, usually between the ages of 3 and 8, and using a blend of essential oils at that point when you get there to literally disappear that limiting belief and to have a whole new scenario occur that leads to a new, more empowered belief. And the first time I did this, as part of when I was just getting involved with Young Living, my wife and several of my staff members and myself, we decided to work with Dr. Perkis over the phone, and he took us through the process. And it was interesting because this was early on with me, and one of the big, he often gets you in touch with what's something you're afraid to do, or where do you feel stuck, where do you feel blocked? And I had this fear that if I got involved with a quote unquote network marketing company, a multi-level marketing company, that here I am, this huge known author and transformational leader, that people might judge me for that. And there was a fear. And so when we did this aroma freedom technique, which only takes about 15 minutes to do, I got in touch. I went back to when I was about 15, I think. And I was in a room with my dad, and we were arguing about something. I was in this stage of my life where I was wanting to assert my authority and be more independent. And my dad was like not having that. And I said something, I don't remember what it was, and he took a swing at me. And I had been studying judo in school. I went to this military school as a day student, and I come home at night. It wasn't a boarder or anything, but anyway, he swung at me and I flipped him, which is not a good thing to do to your dad when you're a teenager. And my mom said, run. So I ran. And she said, I'll tell you when you can come back. So about 2 hours later, my brother found me at a nearby playground and said, you can come home now. But what happened was I was basically not allowed to step into my authority for fear of what other people would think, what my dad would think. And so I wasn't able to just be a free spirit and do what I felt was right in me, because it would be something my dad wouldn't approve of, and then I'd get in trouble. And going to military school, there was a lot of that as well. You had to stand in attention, wipe that smile off your face, don't laugh, you keep your locker clean, all these kinds of things. Your rifle had to be clean, your shoes had to be shined. There's a lot of rigidity built into that. And so what happened when we took the oils and rubbed them and inhaled them, all of a sudden a movie developed in my head where my dad walks up to me and says, we got to stop doing this. I have to acknowledge you're a man now, and you have a right to do whatever you want to do, and you be the own authority of your own life and not worry about what I or other people think about you. And it was amazing. And this healing energy just flowed through me. And I've done a lot of therapy work, and I've taken ayahuasca and other plant medicines, and had a shaman work with me for 3 years with many different, plant medicines like mushrooms and things like that. And this had never been healed. And so within just a few seconds, just the inhalation of those essential oils had a huge therapeutic effect and transformational effect, liberating effect on me. My wife was there as well. We all had breakthroughs. Every one of us had a major breakthrough. So we got very excited about that. And then I shared it with a lot of my trainers. Many of them have become certified aroma freedom therapy trainers through Ben Perkis' training program. And I use the emotional reset, which is something he developed, which is a daily thing, which is to just take a few oils at the beginning of the day, and it just sets you up for success. And it's really, really powerful. So anyway, that's a huge, huge aspect of the work we're doing, because my life purpose is to inspire and empower people to live their highest vision in the context of love and joy. And so the oils are actually facilitating and accelerating that. I'm always looking, how can we get further and faster with less struggle, less effort? And so this has been a huge aspect of that work. And I encourage you all to participate in it at some point. Now, the neat thing about oils is they all have frequencies. And we were talking earlier about raising your vibration, raising your frequency. You know, the movement, the Qigong does that. The work that Aaron's doing that. All of Penelope and Sammy, all of the presenters, and just, you know, Sprite, she's always like up energy, you know. And so the reality is the oils have a vibration. And when you look at rose, which is one of the highest vibrations of an oil, 188 megahertz, what happens is that what's one of the most things that we love to give people in terms of Valentine's Day, and when we're dating somebody and we want to express our love, what do? We give them roses. And the 320 megahertz joy, which has rose and ylang-ylang and other things in it, it's 188. It's a blend. And so all of these different oils, lavender 118. Look, if positive thoughts, when you think of positive thought, you're at 78 to 72 megahertz. So all these oils are taking you above that. Negative thoughts bring you down 56 to 50 megahertz. And when you get down to around 57, that's when flu can invade your body. And with the pandemic now and the flu season starting, that's the last thing you want to have happen. So the oils keep your energy, your vibration high, which makes it difficult for things of a lower vibration to take hold in your body. So this is why I love these oils as well. There's a whole science behind them that you can study. And even if you don't study it, at least you know it's there and it backs up everything we're talking about. Now, Albert Einstein said, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, said, in every adversity, there's a seed of an equal or greater benefit, but you have to look for it. And you have to water that seed. And so, as I mentioned, when the pandemic occurred and I started getting back involved in the essential oils and using them in my own life and working with my staff and learning to do AFT processes with people and incorporating that into my work, we were able to do a lot with that, and then started doing workshops online, educational workshops and so forth. But I want to talk for a minute about the financial opportunity, because that was really important to us at that time. I wanted to be able to say to my staff, hey, if we have to cut back people's salaries, because we're not going to fire anybody, we'll just all take a percentage pay cut, including myself and all the other officers of the company, across the board until what we can afford based on the profit that we have coming into the company. But if we have this other opportunity with Young Living, then we can supplement our income if we need to do that. And so we had some people making, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month extra simply by engaging in becoming someone who was a distributor, if you will, with Young Living. So why do I feel confident about not only the oils and what they do? Because I've experienced it. I've experienced it with my family, with my friends. I have what's called a desk reference, which has all the different oils of what kind of conditions they're used for. If you have eczema, that kind of thing, what kind of oil would you want to rub on your skin? And I have given these oils to all of my friends who are having babies right now. My stepson just had a baby. My wife's spiritual teacher just had a baby. What are the oils that you can use there? So everybody is getting value from this. My 8-year-old grandson was hard to put to bed at night. And then we use peace and calming, and all of a sudden he calms down and he's not hyperactive. He goes to bed. So that's the main thing, is the oils work. But also as a company, the thing we love about Young Living is there's only one owner, Mary Young. That was Gary and Mary Young. Gary died, unfortunately. He was in the rainforest searching for more oils, more plants he could make oils out of. And he got what they call it, a parasite got into his body, which he was unaware of, was in his heart. And by the time they finally figured it out, it was just too late. And he died from that. But the point being that this guy had created this amazing company. I wish I'd met him. He was a true saint on many levels. Anyway, long story short, one owner now, Mary Young. The value of that is you don't have a board that's ever going to fight with each other, try to sell it for a profit. Mary's committed to it forever. Company's been around for 28 years. It's a $2.2 billion company. So they've gone through all the difficult times of growth. They figured all that out. It's a very successful company. They can afford everything they need to do the right kind of research and support all of us. There's over 6 million members using the products worldwide, and they plan to have 5 million more by 2024. So it's growing very quickly. 40% of the people are on a monthly auto ship program called a subscription program. Most network marketing companies, maybe 8%. In my organization, 80% of the people are on auto ship program. So it's a monthly recurring income that occurs. 90% are just customers. Why is that valuable? Because it means we're not a network, we're not a pyramid scheme. People are not all just signing up people to sign up people to sign up people. They're using the products, and it's only the people that want to do it as a business that are doing that. There's a 30% annual growth, 26% increase in earnings for our members that are doing it as a business since this January this year. It's an asset you can own once you have a business. Like my 2,233 people, I can sell that to someone else if I wanted to. I can will it to my children. We have 700 amazing products to choose from, and it's a home business you can do during the pandemic. We talk about seed to seal quality. Everything we do is of the highest order. All of our farms, they're all on organic soil. They've had to be organic for at least 50 years. No pesticides, no organic, inorganic fertilizers, etc. No chemicals. And you can build this part-time at home, anytime from anywhere. All you need is a computer, a laptop, a phone. Many people do it on 30 minutes a day. This woman built a 20,000 person downline just on her lunch break at work, Kimmy Brook. I went from a struggling single mom to building a team of 20,000, just talking to people during her lunch hour while she was working in a corporation. They said you can build it from anywhere, anytime. We have amazing farms all around the world. This is our lavender farm in Provence. Lots of education from people like Jen O'Sullivan. We have a lot of workshops we present. Lucy Libido is a woman that has been studying oils and sex and helps people balance their hormones, increases their libido, increases intimacy, dealing with menopause, all research-based. So we have seminars that occur nonstop. We also do personal development work. We did something last year called the Abundance Challenge. We had Rhonda Byrne from The Secret presenting, and Lisa Nichols, and Janet Atwood from The Passion Test, Bob Proctor, who many of you know from The Secret, John Assaraf, another person from The Secret. Richard Branson said, I'm a tremendous believer in network marketing. He's a billionaire. He understands business. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki said, if I had to do it all over again, rather than build an old style type of business, I would have started building a network marketing business. So lots of people support this. One Heart, I'm just going to take 30 seconds on this. This is one of the most powerful combinations of oil blends that's ever been created. It was created in honor of Gary Young and his commitment to service in the world. And some of the ingredients like ylang ylang opens the heart. Northern Lights Black Spruce is an amazing heart opening, and it's something my wife and I will put on our chest before we make love. It opens up our hearts. You've got a Roman chamomile, which opens up our courage to be open, to be vulnerable and open takes courage. You've got spearmint, which is great, black spruce, camphor, cedarwood, geranium, frankincense, which is a spiritual opening. So there's so many things in here. I love this oil. It's an amazing thing. So you could start by just getting the One Heart. You can start with getting an oil starter kit, which I recommend, which has all these different oils in here, all of which are kind of our major workhorse oils that do many, many, many things. And so what I would recommend is whoever invited you today, get back with that person who invited you today and ask them to get you started with one or more oils. I'm going to recommend the oil starter kit, and I would get the One Heart as well. And get into the oils. They really will transform your life. So I'm going to stop, say thank you for listening, and I will get out of my slides here, and I will hope that's been valuable. I'll turn it back over to Sprite.
Awesome. It was amazing. So everybody just give Jack some love, you guys. Let's see hearts on the screen and thumbs up and all of that. Absolutely, Jack. It was amazing. I love how transparent you are. I love how our community is really clearly here to support each other and all of the ways that you bring forward yourself and other people to our community. So thank you. And I know you're going to have to pop in a few minutes, but I just want everyone to know that this is our one heart community, our one drop, one heart community that we have been creating around the world. And every day, every week, we just continue to attract amazing more people into this community. And we want to give you the opportunity to come and be part of it. So we're going to stay on for